fun, and I cannot wait to watch you guys play.
Coming to you from the My Michigan TV studios.
We're going to kick you in the teeth.
It's the Roar Live.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
With hosts, Michigan High School Hall of Fame head coach, Tony Blankenship.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
The outsider, Scotty William, and Corey Tiez.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
And hello, everybody, Lions football fans alike. Whether you're watching us live right here on My Michigan Television, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond, or you're listening on your favorite podcasting platform, thank you for joining us this week on the Roar Live. Michigan High School Hall of Fame head coach Tony Blankenship, Corey Tiez, the antagonist. The gang's back together for the first time in a month.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
In studio. Right. You have just seen 24-6 final score in Indy. The Lions win again. They go 10-1. We have a lot to talk about, gentlemen, this week. If you want to get in on the action, just click on the QR code that'll be coming in on the screen right there. That's how you get in on the action. We want to hear from you, Lions fans. And also, activated from the IR this week, after being out since Rams week, the Lions have Hutch. We have Crutch. Dave Scott is live at 24 seconds in Berkeley, Michigan. He'll have fan reactions. We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to see Dave. We have a Roar trivia question this week. What team does the Lions hold the most comeback wins of 10 points or higher? The answers that you could pick from are A, the Bears, B, the Packers, C, the Vikings, D, the Browns, E, the Cowboys. So that is the Roar trivia question. If you think you know it, zoom in, get us on the Roar chat. We want to hear from you. The question of the week is, what was your favorite stadium to watch a Lions game? Some of you might have seen the Lions play in Detroit at Tiger Stadium. I know your dad's probably seen a few Lions games down there,
for sure.
Tony.
Yep.
And the Pontiac Silverdome is, you know, pretty much where me and Tony, well, all three of us actually, pretty much seen them play. I never seen them play at Tiger Stadium.
Well, it was Briggs. What was it, Briggs then?
Yeah.
Briggs
No, I might have been Tiger
Tiger
Stadium.
Stadium?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was Tiger Stadium before the end. But yeah, that is the question of the week. And the stadium that you like to hear, that you might have seen the game from, maybe it wasn't a Detroit stadium. Maybe you seen them in Cincinnati or AT&T Stadium. Well,
take a pick.
We have so much to talk about this week. I'm going to start off now with Tony's takeaways. Tony, let's hear what you thought about this week's victory for the Detroit Lions.
Status quo is how I see it.
Okay.
They've been consistent. They've been doing what they've been doing consistently now for the last few weeks, I think since week 3. They're on a 8-9 game winning streak, and they have imposed their will on everybody they're playing against to the point where they're dominant. And it's pretty evident that they have a system in place. They have a culture in place where they're going to come at you a certain way, and they're going to make you make the adjustment. They're going to be who they are, and they've been that, running those great running backs, and a quarterback who's able to maintain the style of football they like to play, and really good receivers that can make plays as well. A defense that is sound, not great, but sound. And, again, you know, until somebody can show us something different, this is who they are.
What did you think? How did you think they played? They seem to struggle a little bit. Or maybe we're just used to them scoring so many points over the past few weeks. they seemed a little lackluster this week. Is that surprising to you with the way they've been so explosive over the past few weeks?
No, because in the NFL, everybody's getting a check.
Right.
And the Indianapolis Colts got some players over there that can play. And they got some coaches who do a good job scheming things up, getting the guys ready to play. And it's important and it's personal. They go out to try to prepare to get the Lions stopped. That's exciting for people now. The Lions are the team to beat. So when you go out and you try to prepare and get ready for the Lions, you want to be able to show that you have a good product that you can put on the field too. Everybody's not going to be what you saw the last couple weeks or so when the Lions are scoring 50 points, which is astronomically, it's embarrassing. Right. It really is to me. I mean, guys make a lot of money to play this game, and they work hard at it. And for anybody to put 50 on you like that, that's embarrassing, just, from a football standpoint. So Indianapolis let it be known that they were prepared. They're definitely not on the level the Lions are on. They don't have the skill. They don't have the players per se. But those coaches did a good job in preparing. That's why the game was not something that you saw in some previous games.
Yeah.
Are you surprised, and let me get this from you, are you surprised that the Colts didn't lean more on Jonathan Taylor this week?
I am surprised.
I mean, he's a
really good back.
An all-pro, all-star back, in my opinion, and it just seems like he's getting lost in the shuffle there.
A lot of times, games, have, we talk about it, matchups, everything is about who you match up with and what the tendencies are and what teams are trying to do to you and what you're trying to do to other teams. If for whatever reason, the coach staff didn't feel like he was going to be the featured guy today, and they felt like, they wanted the quarterback to be the featured guy, then that's what you try to get to. I'm like you, though. He's always been very dynamic. He's always been very, very good at running the football, and they didn't exploit it for any reason today. But Richardson was, I think, early in the game was able to show you that he could run the football. He could create some mismatches for them. But it's still no excuse for not having a guy that good running the football and you not try to use him.
Yeah.
Live from 24 seconds in Berkeley, Michigan, the Crutch, Dave Scott, is on with some fan reactions this week. Dave.
All right, welcome back to 24 Seconds in beautiful downtown Berkeley. I'm Dave Scott. Lions, another victory. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Unbelievable. Talk about today's game.
Yeah, I mean, we took care of business, Went to Indy and the fans showed up, and pretty easy game,
Unbelievable that the Lions have again held their opponent to only 6 points.
Yeah, the defense is great. We just want to stay healthy. They're getting a little banged up, but so far so good. And we got, 5 games left, so fingers crossed that we stay healthy. And, we're well on our way.
Hope it all works out. Before I let you go, look right at the camera. Doesn't he look a little bit like Justin Verlander? Anybody ever tell you that?
I have gotten Justin Verlander before. Yep, I sure have, yeah. Ironically, at Comerica Park, I've taken pictures with fans who said, "You look like Justin Verlander." I'm like, well, I'm not him, but...
I'm telling you, I looked over at the bar 24 seconds. I'm thinking, what's Verlander doing here? Hey. Scott, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
Go Lions.
Cheers. Go Lions.
All right, back to you guys.
Dave Scott, the Crutch himself, out there at 24 Seconds in Berkeley. I'm sure we'll have some more fan reactions. Corey, what did you think of the Lions offense today?
Well, I mean, you got two dynamic backs. Golf was a B today. I just think Indianapolis, they stink. They're not a good football team. So the Lions went in. They did what they always do. They run the ball well, and they took care of business. So they didn't make mistakes. There was not a lot of penalties. They just played clean football. Give that ball to those two backs, and you'll be fine. I've said that. I'm saying that every week. Let the game come to golf, and let Montgomery and Gibbs do their thing, and they'll be fine.
Well, we want to hear from you here on the Roar Live. The QR code is up there on the television screen. We have a Roar trivia that you can answer. What team does the Lions hold the most comeback wins of 10 points or higher?
That's a good question.
Is it the Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns, or the Dallas Cowboys? Would you want to make a pick on that?
Yeah, well, I know it's not Dallas because we've always beaten the Lions a lot. I'm gonna go. Welcome back, Blake. I'm gonna go with. The Vikings.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
Tony, you wanna guess on that?
I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Going with the Bears.
That's a good one, Blake.
Going with the Bears. The question of the week: where was your favorite stadium to watch a Lions game? Was it Tiger Stadium? Was it the Pontiac Silverdome? I know there was some classic matchups in there to see a Lions game. That was a wild place to see a Lions game. Was it Ford Field? I've been down there a few times. What do you think, Tony?
What do you got?
You know what? For me, Pontiac Silverdome was amazing, but a lot of people don't understand it was an 80,000 seat facility.
I was gonna say it was like 80,
It was
85,000.
88. It was 80,000.
Yeah,
They did the what was it, WWF?
Yeah. Hogan and Andre. Hogan.
Yeah. So it wasn't a place really for NFL football game, but because you had a lot of space back there where nobody was using.
Right.
That other side, like
Yeah,
the
other
curtains.
side, the curtains. But I remember being there, and that was cool. Honestly, though, Ford Field is pretty dope, pretty amazing, man. Ford Field is a great atmosphere.
Yes.
It's a great place for football, and the Lions do a great job of making sure the fans enjoy it. So I'm going to go with Ford Field.
Yeah.
What about you, Cole?
I'm gonna stick with Ford. Stick with Ford Field. It's a very nice place. It's a very classy look. It's probably one of the better arenas, one of the better stadiums around in the NFL. So I'm gonna go Ford Field.
Okay. You are watching The Roar live right here on My Michigan Television, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. So glad you joined us here this week after the Lions' 24-6 victory in Indianapolis. Well, let's go with the defense. Let's talk a little bit. My defensive play of the game was the Lions stuffing pretty much Indianapolis in the end zone. It almost looked like it could have been a touchdown or a safety, but they I guess they ruled it an incomplete pass. The Lions got after Richardson pretty good this week. Zadarius Smith did a good job, I thought. They were without Terrion Arnold, but they seemed to be able to make Anthony Richardson make some plays he didn't, and he made a lot of mistakes. What do you think?
Yep. You know what? Richardson is still growing as a quarterback.
Sure.
And I think the veteran guys they have up front, McNeil and Jadavian, that new core of guys up front, I think created a problem. They had some rookies too up front.
Yeah.
Indianapolis did. Their left tackle was a rookie.
Yep.
And that's difficult for guys who have to come out there and play against some consummate pros. And the Lions internally are really a good football team.
Yeah.
Their tackles are really good, and they are finally getting some help from the edges as well. So that's going to help them too. But I just think that was the problem. That exploited anything that Indianapolis was trying to do. Yeah. The Lions were already ahead of it. They were way better up front than the Colts.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, they just look like they're playing team defense.
Okay.
So, they're playing team defense. Everybody is contributing. Like, beside the fact that Indianapolis stinks, the Lions, they're playing well together. Everybody, the safeties, the linebackers, the D-line. So everybody's playing together, and it looks good. So the question to me is, do they need Hutch back? I'm just throwing it out there for Lions fans. I'm just saying. This
What are you saying?
This machine is still going, still moving good. They look good defensively.
That's because it's a system.
Okay.
It's a good system.
Yeah, that's why we got the coach here. I just want to throw it out there. That's all.
Yeah, but he makes it easier because they're going to play against some good teams later down the road, and they're going to need to make a play in third and long, or third and short or whatever it is in the playoffs, and they're going to have to. They need somebody to get back there and create some pressure.
Right.
I thought they did pretty well even without Anzalone this week.
Yes.
Jack Campbell's really stepped up.
Yeah, they did. But Indianapolis helped because they didn't even try.
Right. Yeah, they didn't run
try.
the
They
ball.
run
Like
the
you said,
football.
they didn't use Taylor. I don't understand that. But
styles make fights.
Yeah.
And they didn't try to exploit it. They didn't even look at it that way.
Well, we have the crutch out in 24 seconds. Dave Scott, the crutch Dave Scott, with another fan reaction. Dave, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Back here at 24 seconds with Chris. Chris, great game, huh?
Amazing game. I'm really proud of the boys. Our defense is playing well. Offense is playing well. The running backs, receivers, like, it's a Super Bowl year.
Chris, you played football in high school at Holt. What's it like? What do you think these guys are going through right now?
They're having so much fun. Like, all those guys on the Lions team, they're having all the fun in the world because winning is fun. And we're this close to a Super Bowl. It's that year.
Are you worried about the injuries that we're facing, especially on defense?
I saw a couple of injuries, but we added the new defensive end that he seemed to be playing well. And we have so many players that are doing really well. I'm not super worried, but it's something to be worried about, but I think we still have the team to win.
All right, we'll see you back here for a Super Bowl game. What do you think?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Dave Scott from 24 Seconds in Berkeley, Michigan. We've had some good comments out there from Berkeley. That's a great place to see a game.
Yeah.
Good food.
Yep.
Good atmosphere.
Yep. They have every game live. Like, you can watch your team. They have all the TVs set up around the bar.
Yep.
So it's a pretty good atmosphere and good food.
Yep.
Good food. But that was a good comment from the young man there. Was it Chris?
Chris.
Yeah, the one thing he said, they're having fun. Winning is fun, and it's contagious, and they're having a lot of fun, and they're keeping the train rolling. Whether they're 9-1 now, is it 10-1?
10-1.
Yeah. So yeah, they're having fun. That's the thing about sports. When you're having fun, normally for the most part, you're winning. You know, Blank, you can attest to that.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
everybody loves a winner.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, people don't even have to know about the sport. They don't even have to understand the sport.
Right.
They love a winner, and you know that's something that we all have experienced to some capacity, either on the good end or the bad end.
Right.
But winning is cool. Everybody loves you when you're winning.
Right.
The question is, when you're not winning, you know, can you come back and deal with that part of it?
There you go. Good question, though.
Well, let's take a look around. There's some big games coming up this week. Green Bay has the late game against the 49ers in Lambeau.
That's tonight?
That's a 4:25. That probably just started
right now.
Yeah, that probably just got started
Okay, that's a good one.
as we took to the air today.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Your thoughts on that game?
You know what? It's going to be a physical game. San Fran is struggling because they have you talking about injuries.
Yeah.
They've been decimated completely as a team.
Yeah.
I don't think they can come back from it. I thought they could at some point. Having McCaffrey come back was great, but they lost so many players, and at this point, you just lost your quarterback, so you have a brand-new quarterback playing in the game today, and you're going against a Green Bay team that's still trying to stay afloat when it comes to the division in the North.
Okay.
And they see Minnesota won today, if I'm not mistaken. And they still want to be in a position. You know, Jordan Love's a very good football player. He's very gamey. And when I say gamey, I mean he's a guy that's going to take a lot of chances. Mm-hmm. He's got some Brett Favre in him when it comes to just taking too many chances sometimes.
Yeah.
But watch out for the Packers today. I don't believe the 49ers can beat them.
Blank, quick question.
Sure.
So Purdy's out?
He's out.
I saw him walking in the tunnel.
Yeah. Well, unless they switched it, he's out. He was out.
Okay.
Yes. They actually had
That
named
makes a
they
difference.
named the
Who's your
starter.
backup?
That's a
Good
good
question.
question.
Yeah.
I saw him. I saw the gentleman, but I don't remember who he is. I know he's only won like 2 games and 9 starts.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. It's a Wilson. I can't remember the name completely.
I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure on it.
I did. I got a chance to saw a little bit today, but I don't. You know, I know he's not had a lot of success, but having Purdy not be able to play, going against a Green Bay team like that could be a tough situation for him.
And looking at other games in the North, the Bears and the Vikings, they're tied up. 27-27. They're going into overtime.
That's crazy.
The Bears scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, and that game just started overtime. Hopefully we'll have a final score for you by the time this show's off the air.
Listen.
Yes.
Real quick. The Bears should have 2 more wins. The Hail Mary and I think the last week kick. The Bears.
Block kick.
Yeah. The Bears should have 2 more wins. So
winners do what losers won't.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
That's just something, you know. I learned that when I was a young fella playing ball. And when you're a winner, you find a way to make plays and you win football games. And the Bears should
With the help
be.
of your coach,
you know, we could talk about should. Everybody should be doing. But if they haven't done the thing that can get it done to finish the job, they've been so unable to finish the job.
Got to close.
They have never been able to close with consistency. That what happened with the Commanders is catastrophic. That was horrible. And now to see them, now you
Yeah.
got a block kick, and they
Yeah.
played good enough to win those football games.
Good enough.
But if you're not doing everything you're supposed to do completely as a team, you're not going to win the football
won't
game.
win it, yeah.
Offense, defense, and special teams.
Good point. Good point.
Well, we had a comment that came up on our Instagram post this week. Everybody loves Corey's Tell It Like It Is. He seems to get in under everybody's skin.
And that's not the goal.
Oh, no, but
Yeah,
you
it
do a
is.
good job at doing it.
Yeah, it is.
You do a great job at doing it, Gil.
Okay.
But listen, so he said, you need to come up with a rebuttal to Corey's Tell It Like It Is. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to pose this to Blank and, of course, my guy here, Co. Can we say this? Football is a team sport.
It is, for sure.
is, yes.
The consummate team sport. The most
Consummate team
amazing
sport. Are we on
team
it?
sport you can have.
Yeah.
And you only can play who's in front of you.
Right.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Correct. All right.
Yes.
I'm glad we got that established.
Yes.
Now, Corey's comments from last week,
I can remember.
of course you can. But listen, one of them was the Lions haven't played anyone this season. We got that. Number 2, Jared Goff is an average quarterback.
I agree.
Campbell is an average head coach.
I agree.
And the regular season is seeding.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I need you guys to do for me now is not jump on my back too quick.
Nope.
This is only going to show you what I think is the path that the Lions are, what their trajectory is to the top this season.
Okay.
So what I did was I compared the last Super Bowl for the Cowboys, which was 95, and the Steelers, which was in 2008, to what the Lions have done so far in 2024. So the Cowboys in 95, third team offense for the year. They were 13th. They had the 13th best passing offense, second best rushing offense. Steelers in 08, 20th team offense, 17th pass, 23rd in the rushing offense. Lions, first team offense so far as of last week. I didn't put the stats in, but 6 against the pass, or 6 passing rushing offense, third rushing offense this year. Defense for the Cowboys in 95, third team total defense, 8th against the pass, 16th against the rush. For the Steelers in 08, first team defense, first team pass, second against the rush. Lions this year, third team defense overall, 21st against the pass, 4th against the rush. Now, in saying that, there's some similarities here. Cowboys went 12-4, Steelers are 12-4, Lions are now 10-1. You talked about an average quarterback in Jared Goff. Well, let me show you some stats. Troy Aikman, 95, Super Bowl year that they won. He was 280 for 432, 3290 through the air, 64.8 completion rating, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 08 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger, 281 for 469, 3,300 yards, 59.9 completion rating. He had 17 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. As of the start of today's game, so these stats would actually be a little more. Jared Goff was 197 for 270 already, 2492, 73 percentage. 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So you see some similarities here. Team defense for a Super Bowl for the Steelers in 08, 95 for the Cowboys. The Lions are kind of in that trajectory. Also, you had Emmitt Smith for the Cowboys. 1,773 yards, 25 rushing touchdowns in 95. Steelers, I didn't even know this guy was even around. Willie Parker for them had 791 yards, 5 touchdowns. As of right now, Gibbs is your 5th leading rusher. Montgomery's 21st. Willie Parker was 23 for the Steelers. Emmitt Smith was number 1 in 94. So you see that there's some similarities there. Michael Irvin, 5. He had 111 catches for 1,603 yards, 10 touchdowns. Hines Ward was your guy in 08. He was the 14th leading receiver, 81 catches for 1,043, 7 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, so far this year, as of before the start of this game, 65 catches, 685, 9 touchdowns. The kickers. The Cowboys had the 19th best kicker. The Steelers had the 19th best kicker. The Lions, first kicker, Jake Bates.
MVP.
I mean, they better win it.
Coaching, but listen, coaching. Barry Switzer. Now, you talked about an average coach in Dan Campbell. Okay, but this is what I'm saying. Barry Switzer was only 40-24. He basically was handed the keys to a Lamborghini.
Only? Why you say only?
Right.
Well, I'm going to say only because he was handed the keys to a Lamborghini that Jimmy Johnson had that team, and he had all the players.
Yeah.
When Mike Tomlin won, and I love Mike Tomlin. I'm not taking anything away from Switzer. I'm not taking anything away from Mike Tomlin. He won the Super Bowl his second year. Some could say he had the keys to the kingdom too, given it from Bill Cowher. Okay? I think after 4 years, Dan Campbell is 33, 27, and 1. I think he's had a rougher road in what he's been able to create. I think but when you look at the trajectory of what the Lions are doing right now to what the Cowboys did in 95, what the Steelers did in 08, I think they're pushing towards a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah.
Looking at those stats, what do you think, Co?
I disagree.
And why is that?
Because, first of all, I take both of those quarterbacks in clutch moments and key moments over Goff any day and 7 days of the week.
Well,
8 days
but
of
Troy Aikman, to me, and we've talked about this before, he was a game manager, a great game manager.
Troy Aikman has a yellow jacket.
That's fine.
And he has 3 Super Bowls.
But I agree. That's fine.
There's a reason Jared Goff was kicked out of L.A. There's a reason for it. And that,
But you can't tell me.
What you're doing.
You look at average. You said he's average. You say Campbell's average. But when you look at the stats here, they're all in the same boat.
You think
Goff is in the same boat stat-wise? When we look at the stats of 95, he's in that realm of Troy Aikman stats.
So he's
if not better for Ben Roethlisberger.
Are you saying Goff is better than both those guys? So
If we're looking, I'm not talking career.
On the Switzer
I'm
Super
talking
Bowl.
about the season that they're having, that they won
They're winning a
a
lot of
Super
games.
Bowl championship.
They're winning a lot of games.
Right, exactly.
But this is.
But you can't tell me, you can't say to me, average,
Yes, I can.
when he's coming in stat-wise
He's a great
just
coach.
as much as Roethlisberger and Troy Aikman did in their last Super Bowl.
But you just said you
All
play
right.
who you play. But go ahead. Blake.
Well, I'm going to say this to you, Scott, just so we can just clear this right now.
he's got lanes.
All right, let's stop. Listen, at the end of the day, until he wins 4 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls, then we can stop with all the comparisons.
But we're not talking about career, each person.
Well,
we're talking about the year that they won
whatever
the Super
year,
Bowl.
whatever year that Aikman was ever to prepare to put them in a position to win a Super Bowl, and he had those kind of numbers,
did it 3 times?
they got it done 3 times.
But
Until Goff can get it done, until he's able to finish
But
the deal.
but I'm
when he's
not-
able to finish
right.
the deal, then
okay,
that's
but what I'm saying is
respectful.
the trajectory of
Is he
what
heading
he's-
to that direction?
Yes.
A lot of guys were.
Okay. But here's what. So you say we play who's in front of you, right?
Yeah, but
so
a lot of guys
in
are.
'95.
You compared him to freaking Troy
when we
Aikman?
looked at the Cowboys, 12-4 that year. They won 5 out of their 12 wins.
division was
5 of them they won against winning records. 3 teams. There was 500. They won 4 games against teams with losing records.
So-
They were 0-2 against a 6-10 Redskins that year. All I'm saying, guys,
All I'm saying
is
is
that
Mark
if
Rippon
you
won a
gotta
Super Bowl.
play. Mark Rippon wasn't the quarterback. So all I'm saying is they're playing who who is
they
in
put
front
in
of
front
them.
of
I
them.
said
Absolutely.
That's
fair.
They're killing them.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
they're
So you're saying they are playing who's in front of them?
And they're doing what they have to do.
Absolutely.
We
So
all said that.
So I'm not saying Jared
said that.
Goff is going to win 80 Super Bowls or
No,
anything else like that.
he gotta win one.
I'm just trying to tell you that, and I didn't say that. I said that the trajectory that they're on
Yeah,
is
I
similar
hear what
to the '95 Cowboys
Okay.
and the '08 Steelers.
Okay.
Well, the trajectory was that.
Okay,
was
so
their
you
first-
said he's headed to that place.
The Lions as a team are headed to that place.
But you're comparing quarterbacks.
already?
I'm comparing quarterbacks. I'm comparing offense
Well, he
and
doesn't think
defense.
Aikman is any good, so he's going to say that.
Listen,
That was his third Super Bowl.
finish the deal. That's all I'm gonna say.
I agree with
so
you.
So when we can revisit this
Yeah.
when it's
We
time
can
to
do
revisit
that.
it. So this
I'm
is a
just
great.
going
this is
by
a great
what
point.
Corey was going by
Yeah,
last
but
week.
this is a great point by you, Scott. It's a great argument. It's a great debate. But let's look. At the end of the day, they're favored to win a Super Bowl. The Lions are.
Yeah.
They are the NFL favorite
Yes.
to win the Super Bowl.
We talked about seeding.
as we speak right now.
But we talked about, hold on. We talked about seeding and doing what they have to do. The regular season is seeding. Corey said that last week, and how you
Well,
are
you're playing
for the
for-
playoffs.
you're
Right.
playing- Lions are
So-
playing for home
Right.
field.
So
Yeah.
the Cowboys, they did what they had to do in '95. They had home all the way through. The Steelers did the same thing. All I'm trying to say is the trajectory is going in that way for the Lions.
I don't think
Now,
that's
we
any
got-
doubt, though. I don't think that's not debatable.
Yeah, he's winning. They're winning a lot of games.
That's not debatable to me,
Oh,
Scott. Scott,
I think-
they're
I
on their
agree
way.
with you.
They're on
But
their
I'm
way.
just saying what
They're
got
on-
under
listen,
the skin of the
they
fans
are in,
of what Corey
they are,
was saying.
They are positioning themselves to be a Super Bowl champion. And you're going to need a lot of things to happen for that to happen, but they are definitely in a position to do so. Now, I get what you're saying. 1995 is not the same as 2025. All right? I don't care what we say and how we feel.
But you when
It's
you
not.
look at different teams, I'm not saying that the Lions could beat a '95 Cowboys or
I'm not
08
either.
Steelers.
But I'm saying the game has changed and,
Yeah.
and how things work have changed and positioning yourself, yeah, that's fine. The game is still the game, but it's not the way it was back then. The teams are different. Everything is different. And at the end of the day, you got to adapt and adjust to what you're dealing with. Like you just mentioned earlier, they play who's in front of them.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's really about matchups. So what we're really going to be looking at is who they're going to play in the playoffs and what's going to happen in that situation.
but that's playing who's in front of them.
Right.
Yeah.
We all said that. All I said was they've played two good quarterbacks. One had one leg and one had no team, Stafford and Love. So they haven't played teams with great quarterback play. Once they get to that level, which is the next season, they're winning a lot of games. Get to seed, they get to the next level. You're going to see better quarterback play to win a Super Bowl, to win the NFC championship. That's all I'm saying. It's just
I'm going to tell you guys, man.
let me say something real quick, Mike.
Go ahead,
U of
Steve.
M.
Yeah.
U of M
Yeah.
last year, everybody's saying cupcake schedule.
They went through it.
They went through it, but guess what they had to do at the next? They had to get to the next level and play.
At a higher level.
Those other players, the other
They
teams
played
were better.
better in the
That's all I'm
semis.
saying.
They
Listen,
And the
like I
Lions still
say,
haven't played
listen,
anybody.
hey,
They played
listen,
the Colts today.
Right, but you have to play who is in front of you.
We know that.
We all,
So they're doing what they have to do.
No
Whether
question.
they're
They are
a
definitely doing
crappy
that.
team
Yes.
that
But they're not,
playing.
though. They're not crappy. They're,
Right.
they're an elite team.
Right.
Let's be clear here.
No, the Lions aren't.
They
Don't-
are the best team in the NFL
No, I'm talking
right
about
now.
who they've played.
Well,
They
they,
have been.
haven't played
Or
elite
teams.
teams.
They have not.
But listen, you can't have all winning teams. You're
Right.
not gonna. That's not gonna be realistic.
Some
throughout
schedules
the
are.
season.
Some
No, but the
schedules are tough
NFL
enough.
is the NFL,
Yeah.
so you can lose on any given day.
Sure,
Exactly.
Let's
absolutely.
be clear about that.
Right.
All I'm
Tampa
saying,
showed
guys,
you
is
that.
that trajectory-wise, it hasn't happened yet. But trajectory-wise, they are
'Cause-
going in that. They're trending in that direction.
'Cause they're winning
like
a
the
lot of games.
'95 Cowboys. And I'm talking when I did offensive stats, defense, in that thing too. So that's why I'm saying. You can't just be completely down on him or down on the Lions because that's what you said.
No,
That's
no,
what you
no,
said
no.
last week and tell it like it is.
I just repeated
you
what I
you
said.
said last week.
I said they
enjoy
haven't
winning
played-
throughout the season.
Right, those are
and
good.
That was it.
You haven't done this since 1932. You haven't had a win season like this.
But we're talking
what
about
I'm saying.
this. We're not talking about history
Scott,
of the
what I'm-
Cowboys.
what I'm saying
we're
is-
not talking about the history of the Steelers.
If you stop cutting me off, what I'm saying is they're winning a lot of games and they're taking care of business. I just said the quarterback play they've been playing against has been terrible.
but
you had Love.
You have to play who is in front of you.
Exactly. So
Okay.
did the Cowboys. So
Okay.
did the Steelers. So did the Browns. I get all that. I'm just saying, I don't think, to nutshell this, I don't think Goff is going to win your Super Bowl. Period. End of story. He's not Troy
Joey
Aikman.
is on the line on
all I'm
Zoom.
saying.
Joe.
And he cut you off so
Yeah,
nice.
hey, we're going to revisit
not.
this.
He just cut
Joey, how's it going, buddy? Have you been
Wow.
listening on the conversation?
Trent Dilfer won the
Hey,
Super Bowl.
Joey, you need to pause.
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl.
Because we need to finish this debate.
Boxing gloves off.
Can you turn Joey up a little bit? We can't hardly hear him.
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, horrible guy. Basic guys. Basic
Trent
quarterbacks.
Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Listen,
Yeah, I said that.
you did say something last week about average quarterbacks.
Yes.
But when Rippon did win the Super Bowl in '91, he did have Joe Gibbs as a coach. He was the Super Bowl MVP, and he was a Pro Bowl quarterback that year. I'm not saying his career he was a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying that year he did what he had to do, and he won. Hostetler was a backup in '90.
Right.
Parcells was his coach. Brad Johnson was a Pro Bowl quarterback that year. He won with John Gruden. Doug Williams was a backup, but he was a Super Bowl MVP with Joe Gibbs.
Can I tell you what they all have in common?
What's that?
They all had great
Defenses. They all had great defenses.
All right, not 18th
But it's a
ranked.
team sport.
No, I don't care about team sport. I'm telling you what has happened with every team you just named.
Right.
They
It was
all
7 of
had
them.
elite defenses.
They had
Not
elite.
good. They were the
Elite.
best defenses in the league that year.
That's all I'm saying.
Every team that you just named had the
elite
best defenses
defenses.
in the league
Yes.
that year.
Yes.
Even when Tom Brady went to 10
Yeah.
Super Bowls,
Yeah.
every year he won, they were top 5.
Yes.
Every year Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, the defense was top 5.
Yeah. And then
But that's what. But
Well, if the Lions
Well,
going to be that, if the Lions going to be that,
team
then
sport.
if-
Right?
Well,
if
yes.
we established that
Well, yes.
in the beginning of this conversation.
And I had always said overall, great quarterback, great coach. I say you don't have that. Those out of the years, those 7 we just mentioned weren't. Everybody else had a great quarterback and a great coach. That's it.
and a great defense.
and a great
we're
defense.
also we're not talking about
Not Hostetler,
history, a career of a quarterback. We're talking about what they did that year.
The data still has to be able to prove what it is your argument is trying to create.
Right.
So
I
what
see
is
what
what is the data
I see
saying?
what you're.
The data is we're talking about what he was talking about Super Bowl wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Rippon did what he had to do. He was a Pro Bowler that year.
Okay, great defense.
Okay.
And I was
But it's a
making-
team
Great head
sport,
coach.
correct?
Right.
Listen, we
You
all
still have to go. You still
Football
have to
is
play,
a team sport.
but
We
you
already
still
know
have
that.
to play who was in front of
We
you.
all
right?
know
They
that.
did that.
But if you don't have these basic things to happen for you
Right.
as a team, you're not going to win a Super Bowl,
Right.
guys.
Right.
Listen, the Detroit Lions are phenomenal right now. Their defense has to step up to be elite if they're going to win a Super Bowl. I'm telling you that. That's it, period.
Joey, what do you think? He's been waiting patiently.
What do you mean? What I think about what?
This
About
argument
this
we've
debate?
had.
I don't call it
what,
argument, I just call it
what do you
debate.
think, Joe?
Dude, I think you need some drinks in front of you, man, because that's getting heavy and deep and heated. I think you need some drinks, because I'm going to have a drink after I get off of this thing, because I need one after that discussion.
Well, listen, how do you think? Do you think I'm correct in saying the Lions are in that trajectory path of getting to a Super Bowl and possibly winning in just how the Dallas Cowboys were in '95 and the Steelers were in
Why did you
08
put up the
stat-wise?
Patriots anymore? I don't-
I absolutely think they're on that trajectory, you know. And you have you've done some homework and brought some stats out about those years that they won, the last years that they won Super Bowls. You know, Corey's got a point. His only point is that, hey, Goff hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but there's the big word is yet. And he doesn't seem to be a believer, so I guess we'll stuff it in his face if he gets to the promised land this year. You know, until that happens, though, we won't be able to stuff it in his face. Right. Corey? I mean, bottom
I
line,
agree.
you know?
Yeah, I agree. So the trajectory, the Vikings are on the same. You win games. Win the regular season. That's fine. All I said, this stemmed from, I said, out of the million years of Super Bowls, there's always been great quarterbacks and great coaches to win them. It's been
Absolutely.
7 that haven't. And I named them last week. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think Goff and Kemp, nobody's going to just deter me from that. I don't think they're great. I just don't. That's just about it. Lions are doing what they're doing. They're taking care of business. They're beating bad teams.
And
Good for them.
to you, the only way, to you, Corey, the only way they're going to be great then is if they win a bunch of Super Bowls, I guess. You know, I mean, that's your criteria, you know, in the end. You know, that's all you're saying.
Because,
is
like
that,
I said,
hey,
I'm not
you know,
debating the history of Pittsburgh Steelers and what they've accomplished or the Dallas Cowboys in that aspect. I'm just saying season-wise, the reason I went back to 95 and 08, because those were the last 2 Super Bowls that those 2 teams have won, the Lions' trajectory is trending in that direction. Now, like you said, we got to revisit this. We'll revisit this at the end of the year, whether they win the Super Bowl or not. I was just trying to debate what Corey was saying when he was rattling off last week about average this, average that. All I was saying is you still got to play who's in front of you, and it's a team sport, which all of us agree it is.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think I disagree that to call Goff just an average quarterback and Campbell just an average coach. I think their record over the last 3 years shows something quite different. You know, they're above average in every aspect of the game that each of them plays. You know, Goff is a player, Campbell is a coach. Campbell has surrounded himself with winning coaches that have brought about a change in the atmosphere and the type of play that Detroit and the type of program Detroit has become year in, year out. So, you know, you can't just do that just because you're a name. You can't just snap your fingers and make that happen. That happens because you put a bunch of work in, you get the right people surrounding you, and you have you have good players doing what they need to do on the field. And I've always said, you know, right from the beginning, you know, none of this matters. We can talk about this debate, who's best, who's better, you know, who's average, who's not average. We could debate that all year long, but it really isn't going to matter until you get to the end of the season and see who's on the field, because those players who are on the field at the end of the season will be the guys that determine whether or not you're going to be a playoff contender or a Super Bowl winner. You know, if we can get our best players on the field all at the same time at the end of the season, I think we got a great shot. I mean, better than 50% shot to win a Super Bowl with Goff and with every other player, with our coach Dan Campbell. I think we can win the Super Bowl because when we have our best players on the field, we beat everybody's butt.
Okay,
hands down.
Well, you had a chance last year, so that didn't pan out for you. So we'll see. Like you said, we'll have to see. I was just making a history stat statement, and those are just facts.
Well,
those are just the facts.
I wasn't debating. I wasn't saying, and I'll repeat it again. I wasn't saying that the Dallas Cowboys have a horrible franchise in history. We were just talking about, I was making a comparison season-wise of what they did. Now, we talked about you were right. You talked about the other quarterbacks that you named here. Joe Namath.
Terrible.
That year, he was a Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. He was a Super Bowl MVP. Mm-hmm. They did what they had to do as a team to win the Super Bowl. You said Jim Plunkett. Terrible. Yeah, but he won 2 Super Bowls, and the year that he won it, he was a Super Bowl MVP in one of those. You know, so it's a team sport. We said that.
Hall of Fame coaches,
Hall of Fame coaches, defenses.
That's all I was trying to say.
So you just named 2 different organizations, the Raiders and the Redskins, and they had Hall of Fame coaches and elite defenses. So now if Dan Campbell's a Hall of Fame guy, he'll show us. Yeah. If that defense is big time, they'll show us.
Yeah. I don't think any of us in this room or at this panel was saying he was a great coach at his first interview. Were we saying that? The first year? The second? What makes him a great coach now? Because he won 12 games last year?
I think he's improved every year he's been here.
I said great. We were saying great. Barry Switz is a great coach. Super Bowl in college. Super Bowl national championship, several. Super Bowl in pros. Is Campbell a great coach? I guess.
Well, I think when you talk about coaches, though, and maybe you could.
And you said he was handed the keys.
Well, he was.
Okay, that's fine. But you still play.
Switzer had the keys to the kingdom from Jimmy Johnson.
Scott, it doesn't matter. You still have to play.
Exactly.
So did Dungy. So it doesn't. Switzer was a great coach before that. He was a great coach before that.
In college.
So you get to pick. You don't get to pick your players.
Exactly.
He's a coach. So he
did
coached them.
I agree with you.
So that kind of is.
But Campbell's trending in that direction. What do you think, Joe?
Trending in what direction? What direction?
Campbell's a very good coach. I mean, hands down.
Why?
I would call him a great coach because he's created a different type of atmosphere and a different type of a level of play that we haven't seen in Detroit in my lifetime.
And we have a Hall of Fame coach here.
Well, so listen.
It's the difference between leader and coaching. But go ahead, Mike.
What makes you great is consistency. That's what makes you great. If you're saying that he's a great coach, he has to continue to do this.
Not for 1 year.
Not for 2 years. So he has to continue this even when the roster doesn't look like this. That's what makes you a great coach. When you can still continue to create a winning culture when you ain't got the greatest players. Those are great coaches. That's the difference between great and being good and being elite. And everybody can do it when they got the players.
Dan Campbell's an elite coach.
No, he just said he's a great coach. He just said he's a great coach.
Well, I mean, what he's done over the past couple of years,
2 years.
Listen, and Mike Tomlin won it in 2 years.
That's like when I was at high school. When I was coaching high school, and I went to the city championship back-to-back years. All of a sudden, I'm a great coach. No, it takes time. You really have to continue.
So how many years does it take you to be a great coach? 20, 40, 60?
No.
Tomlin's never had a losing season.
But at least it takes more than 2 years. I'm not saying Campbell is not going to be great. I'm saying you can't call him great today. You cannot call a guy a great coach yet.
Do you call him average?
You call him? No, I'm not saying he's average either. I'm saying he's a solid, good football coach.
That's just my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. That's Corey. Corey is saying he's average. Right now, that's all he can go off of because the first couple of years he got in the league, that's what he showed us. Now he's on the up end of it where he's rising and he's doing some really special things for the Lions. I'm saying we got to be careful when we start throwing out that great word. Right. Be careful we start throwing out that elite word because when people are doing that kind of thing, that's because they've been doing it for a long time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think I said elite.
And the mess that Tomlin has this year, that's great. He's never missed a playoff. He never had a losing record.
And he still gets questioned because he has not won a Super Bowl since 08.
Right.
So, and we still know he's a great coach.
Yep. Joey, listen, before we let you go, because I know you've been sitting here patiently, this is something I know you couldn't have looked up that easily. The Roar trivia question this week. What team does the Lions hold the most comeback wins of 10 points or higher? Is it A, Chicago Bears, B, Green Bay Packers, C, Minnesota Vikings, D, Cleveland Browns, or E, Dallas Cowboys? What's your pick, Joe?
I'm going to have to go with the Bears.
Okay. The Bears it is.
You were on that one.
Well, Joe, listen, we'll be breaking bread here in about a week. And,
yes, sir.
So I'm looking forward to seeing you out there in East Val, California. And but thanks for coming on, and we'll get together real soon.
Well, we're looking forward to having you guys come on out and visit. Corey, you can come anytime you want to. We always got a place.
Do you have another Lions chain for them?
Absolutely, I do. It's a little different color, but I got
Send
one
it back.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, guys. Take care. Happy holidays.
You are watching The Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. Hey, Joe's always good.
Yeah, you know what? I knew Scott was going to do this. Scott's a stats guy. I know him.
Oh, he was ready for you.
Yeah, I know him. And then he picked the Steelers and Cowboys. I know the guy.
Yeah. Well, you guys are testy about your teams.
No, I'm not.
I haven't been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan since I was a kid either. That was when Dallas and Pittsburgh were going against each other.
Right.
Okay.
I was a.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
My brother was.
I should have went back to the Chargers because that's your new team with our ball.
Well, Kansas City Chargers.
Oh, that's tonight. That's tonight. That's a good one.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Listen, I think we have Dave Scott at 24 seconds. Do we, Jared? I didn't hear what you. I didn't hear what you said. Do we have him? Okay, Dave. We have Dave at 24 seconds with another fan reaction to this 24-6 victory for the Detroit Lions.
Back at 24 seconds in Berkeley after the big Lions victory. Zach, how was the game?
It was a good game. I feel like we could have played a lot more clean. The defense was really struggling, it felt like, in the first half. But, I mean, we really stepped it up and we came out with a good win, yeah.
You know, I think a lot of fans around the NFL would say, oh, yeah, your defense is really struggling. You didn't give up a touchdown the whole game.
Right.
But I agree with you. It kind of felt that way. Isn't that kind of weird?
It's a little weird, yeah. It just felt like, anything Anthony Richardson wanted to do, he was doing. We really stopped the run, which I thought we've been really good at all year. But other than that, it's like he was just commanding that offense all day.
And the Lions offense wasn't clicking like last week, but they got enough, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
I feel like we really slowed down. We had a really good start. Obviously, Gibbs had 2 touchdowns. That's what we wanted. But other than that, it looked a little slow today.
The Lions are at 10-1. What are your thoughts?
It's amazing. I mean, it's finally like a year where I can believe we're going to the Super Bowl, and you know, I love this team. I can't say anything else.
And talk about jersey 26.
I mean, I love Gibbs. Ever since he came to our team, you know, I was one of the people when he drafted him that was like, I like this kid, but you know, he's had such a good year for us. So.
All right, you have a lot of fun here at 24 seconds.
Of course. I mean, it's the best place to watch the games. So.
Okay. A lot of fun. Everyone enjoying themselves on this victorious Lions party day here in downtown Berkeley. Back to you guys.
Dave, thanks for getting those fan reactions there at 24 Seconds in Berkeley. A great place to see a game.
Yes.
Great food.
It is.
Yeah. I go. You guys like to hang out over
Yeah,
there.
I do.
Good place.
I go there at least once a week.
Yep.
So a final score in the Vikings beat the Bears 30-27 in OT. Your thoughts on that? Minnesota Vikings still keeping pace at 9-2. Bears lose another one, 4-7. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Bears in a second. But listen, give me a tell it like it is. I know after my stats that I've given you and our little heated conversation that we had.
I like those. I like those.
Give me a tell it like it is.
So here's the deal. So, like I said before, you interrupted to tell like it is because, like I said, the Lions, to me, the Lions are the most balanced team in football. They're the most balanced team in football. I don't know football like Blank, but I think we can all say that. Right, Blank? You think?
That's fine.
I think they're the most balanced team in football.
They
Complete.
are, for sure.
Right now.
They are.
Still had a quarterback throw 5 interceptions in a game. But we've talked about it, Scott. They're taking care of business. That was an ugly game to start. They took care of business. They're winning a lot of games. And I'm just thinking, as far as my thinking is, will they be prepared to play an elite quarterback and win the game? That's all I'm saying. In the next season. And also, pressure Goff. Pressure Goff the rest of the NFL, and we'll see what happens. If you make Goff do a little bit extra, and this is why I don't think he catapults him to a Super Bowl. If he has to do a little bit extra, if he has to do a little bit Mahomes, if he has to do a little bit of Lamar, if he has to do a little bit of Josh, I just don't see it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So I think if you pressure him, because the Texans, for a minute, looked like that game was, going to the Texans the other way. Yep. Again, they didn't. And the Lions are catching people in a good spot. I mean, they're catching teams when they're hurt. They don't have all their players. But again, like you said, they're taking care of business. Now, I heard somebody say greatest show on turf. Let's stop that. Let's stop that. Hall of Fame quarterback in Warner, receivers were better, and the two of them is not better than Falk. So let's just hold down with that for a second. But yeah, they're the most balanced to me. That's the takeaway that I've been getting for the last 10 or 11 weeks. And they're headed to where they haven't been before, and that's why everybody's so excited. They see all of these wins. Oh, my God, this is the year, this is the year. We'll see in the second season. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you are watching The Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. So glad you've joined us this week. The Roar question of the week was, what team does the Lions hold the most comeback wins of 10 points or higher? Is it the Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns, or the Dallas Cowboys? Tony said Bears.
I did.
I think Joey said Bears.
Yep.
And who did you say, Go?
Vikings.
Vikings? Well, let's answer that question right now.
This is interesting.
This question is a tie once again this week. They tied it with A, the Chicago Bears, and C, the Vikings. 8 comeback wins of 10 points or higher, and that's a history.
What kind of prize do we get?
Right.
That's a good question. We'll have to talk to Dave about
Maybe we
that.
should try to get some prize to people who get,
Some certificates or something.
I like being right.
That's right. That's right.
Either you right or you learn from being wrong.
Well, I thought, because they played them so many times. I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah.
it had to be.
The Green Bay Packers came in a close, well, they were tied with the Cleveland Browns, 5, and they have 3 on the Dallas Cowboys, 10 points or higher. So that's an interesting. I thought that was a pretty cool question.
Yeah,
Well,
It's not something that you could just look up.
No,
you'd
you
have
can't,
to.
right.
You'd have to count that up.
Exactly.
But listen, so we have a Thanksgiving Day game coming up against a North Division rival, Chicago Bears. Tony, what do you say to a team coming off of a kind of a lackluster win today? They got the job done. 4 days later, you're going to have to play the Chicago Bears, who are coming off of a overtime loss to the Vikings. What do you say to a team like the Lions, and how do you prepare them in just 4 days to take on this interdivision rival, Chicago Bears?
At the end of the day, both teams got to show up and play the game. They both play Sunday games. So we both understand that there is no advantage in either way. If there is something that you want to look at and say, okay, well, this team should be in a better situation, first, the Lions are playing at home, which helps because you can't ever, go against the fact that you got a chance to play at home. The other thing is the Bears played a very physical, tough, competitive game against Minnesota, a conference and division foe, and it's going to be hard to come back from that. The other thing is Detroit can be a little bit lackluster, and, they got a chance to get a win. They didn't play great doing it, and now they get playing Chicago. You got another team who's not great, but they're your division and they're your conference foe, so you got to prepare accordingly. Be careful, Detroit, okay? Be very careful because you can't take this game for granted. At the same time, Chicago may be in a bad spot because they just, they may be a little physically wore down because they just played a very tough game today.
This is the 85th Thanksgiving Day game for the Detroit Lions. They're 37-43-2 all time. This is the 19th game they will play against the Bears. The Bears hold a 10-8 series lead all time. Last year, the Lions split last season against the Chicago Bears. Corey, what do you feel like going into this Thanksgiving Day game against the Bears?
To me, I think the Bears, I think the Lions will beat the Bears Thursday because today, this game for the Bears today was they needed this. I think this is the game here that says to them that they're thinking, we've done all we can do. I don't think they go in with this. Had they won, I think it would have been a different ball game. I think the Lions are going to beat them by 2 touchdowns. I like Chicago's defense. I like their quarterback still. I don't like their coaching staff. But this game today that they played against the Packers, I think it took too much out of them. Had they won, it would have been a little different mindset, I think, going into the Thursday game. Hey, we can still make a little bit of noise here. But I think today's game puts them in a situation where they're thinking, ho hum. I'm not saying anybody's going to go out there and quit, but I do think it's going to be difficult to get up Thursday for this game after knowing that they had a chance to
back-to-back.
Back to back and do a little shuffling.
They just lost another game the week before. Too.
Exactly.
Chicago did. Game they should have won.
Yeah, it's game, and then you're coming against this Lions team who's rolling. It's at
home
tough. Thanksgiving tradition. It doesn't look good for the Bears. I think they lose by 2 touchdowns.
Well, speaking of the Thanksgiving Day game, we are going to have a special presentation for you. It won't be right after the Lions' hopefully victory on Thanksgiving Day, but we'll have a special presentation. We're all going to be across the country. Where are you going to be at, Tony? Are you going to be local, or are you traveling?
I'm local.
Okay.
I'm local.
I know I'm going to be in Seattle, Washington.
Nice.
And Corey, are you going to be local too? So we're going to be all over the place. But we'll have a very special Roar Live for you coming up after the Detroit Lions, hopefully victory over the Bears. Let's take a look around the league real quick.
Okay.
The Browns won in a snow globe game, 24-19 over the Steelers. Today, the Titans beat the Texans.
Wow.
32-27. You guys' thoughts on that game? The Texans just seem to be kind of imploding.
Injuries, and are we seeing – I still love Stroud. Still love him. But are we seeing, what do they call it, the sophomore
jinx.
let down a little bit? He hasn't played great. The team looks a little bit different.
Do you think it could be too with Diggs being out? And having to
Diggs
depend on
hurt,
Nico
but-
Collins?
Diggs is hurt.
Yeah, Diggs is hurt. Having Nico back should have helped, but he threw 2 touchdowns and had 2 picks.
Yeah.
That doesn't balance out well.
Not a good balance.
On other games today, Cowboys, he's got the hat on, folks. 34-26 over the Commanders. Cooper Rush doing it there.
Yeah, well, meaningless to Dallas
Okay.
again because, we got guys doing podcasts and TV shows and hanging out at the club. So it's just but I wasn't ready to crown Washington like everybody else was. I like the kid. He's gonna be a superstar. I know that coach over there. We've had him. And the Commanders, they didn't the combined team records that they won, they were like 19-34. I'm not a believer in the Commanders. I love the quarterback though.
Yep.
He's going to be around for a long time. He's going to give the NFC East some problems. But, Dallas came up. I think Bland was back. Lewis was back. Got a couple players back. Won the game. Doesn't mean nothing.
Dolphins over the Patriots today, 34-15. The Chiefs snuck by the Panthers, 30-27.
All them sneaks.
Buccaneers over the Giants, 30-7. And, of course, the Lions win today, 24-6. Right now in the late games, Raiders up over the Broncos, 7-3. Packers up early on the 49ers, 10-0. No score in the Cardinals-Seahawks game. A lot of football to play, guys. Pretty much halfway through the season now. Any last thoughts before we take out of here? Tony?
You know what? I've said this from day one, and I'll continue to say it because it's really the war of attrition. It matters in this league, and we all need to understand that the game is a very physical game. It's very tough, and at the end of the day, it's going to be who's the most healthiest group. You're going to have guys getting hurt every week, and it really comes down to. I've always said this as a coach, and over the years, I believe in it now more than ever. Unless you're Michael Jordan and the Bulls. To win championships, you got to get lucky. Unless you're the most dominant group, every time you show up to play, you got to have some luck, and you winning a championship. So if the Lions are going to be that team, whoever's going to be that team, trust and believe they needed some help to get to that place. So with all the injuries and all the things that go on with the game and all the possibilities of people not playing and guys you're playing against, those players not playing, then that's something that we got to look at. That's something that we have to maybe, be very aware of because it really comes down to a war of attrition, guys. It comes down to who's going to be the healthiest group when they get a chance to go against each other in the playoffs.
Corey?
Hey, man, I got a couple things real quick. Shout out to King High School. They're headed down to Ford Field for the States again. They won yesterday, so shout out to King High School.
Did Cass win?
Yes, Cass beat Catholic Central.
Okay.
Cass plays in the state championship game against
congrats to them.
Hudsonville.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Shout out to Cass and King.
Shout out to Cass and King.
I didn't know they won yesterday.
Groves lost.
Yeah.
In a
by 1 point.
overtime.
By 1 point.
Yeah.
By 1
Overtime.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to see us. Glad to have us all back in the studio together.
Yeah,
working together.
absolutely.
That's always a fun thing. And safe travels to you guys tomorrow. I know you're out of
Appreciate
here.
that.
That's all I got.
Yep, safe travels, Scott.
Well, you have been watching The Roar Live. We've had a lot to talk about, and we want to thank you for tuning in right here on My Michigan Television, YouTube, Facebook, and beyond. We've had EVJ, Eastville Joey, call in. Dave Scott was live from 24 Seconds in Berkeley, Michigan. 4 days, the Lions play Thanksgiving Day. We'll have a special Roar Live for you. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'm Scotty William, Michigan High School Hall of Fame head coach Tony Blankenship, and of course, our buddy, the antagonist himself, Corey Tiez. We'll see you next time right here on The Roar Live.